hotel, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and many blessings to you this holiday season. Welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. Now, as usual, I'll give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, maybe some pictures, a trailer, or something that's going on in the community. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. So let's waste no time. Oh yeah, let's get to it. Story number 1. Local residents are still hanging on to the holiday spirit, no matter what, not letting go. From Christmas lights to charity events, many local residents are still holding local events, while a lot of local residents are just trying to hang on to the holiday spirit the best way they can. Now, with so many people struggling to stay afloat, many families will be doing everything they can to just keep their family traditions alive, while also trying to limit the spread of COVID-19 this year. So that's why the story made it in. Shout outs to everybody who's trying to hold on to the holiday spirit this year. Story number 2. Local veterans hanging on to memories. After the passing of Pearl Harbor Day this week, numerous headlines of heroic stories popped up in the news about local veterans who not only served, but are still holding on to great memories to pass on to the next generation about Pearl Harbor. Memorial headlines are very, very strong stories that last because without reflection and memories, people will forget the many sacrifices made to make democracies like America's work. Big headline that made it in this week. Story number 3. Some local legends are slowly passing on to the next life. The local area has lost a few local legends in 2020. Youngstown will be saying goodbye to Artis Gillum, who served as First Ward Councilman from 2000 to 2008. Mr. Gillum was very active on the city of Youngstown's east side. His ultimate goal was to bring a grocery store to that side of town, which was unsuccessful. Girard also lost a local legend with the loss of Judge Michael Bernard, who became Girard's municipal court judge in 1994, serving for 18 years. Michael Bernard was a prominent figure in the Girard community, helping and assisting other local officials. Story number 3 made it this week to shout out all who are serving and continue to serve this community. It takes a lot of effort to stay in that long for 18 to 20 or so years. So shout out to everybody, not just the people who have passed on, but the people currently serving. Big headline, big developing news. Story number 4. How smooth was the local election? With multiple reports from Trump supporters claiming disparities in the latest election, local election board members say the election was smooth and secure besides the outside pressure. Now, at the end of the day, many local election board officials just want people to have faith in the process of democracy. And I, like many others, are probably just grateful that people voted this year. It's always good to exercise your right to vote in democracy. Story number 4, big headline. Story number 5. The pressure is on for a better future for Mahoning County. Guns, violence, education, and a growing concern about the future goals for the Mahoning County continue to circulate in and out of the headlines. The main concern about this topic is a need to increase business activity and a more central approach to adhere to the needs of local residents. Many local residents seem very concerned about the unfair advantages that come when comparing family-owned businesses with bigger corporations that receive tax breaks and assistance, while this family-owned businesses have a hard time finding access to loans to stay afloat. Now, although many are now addressing this issue, the pressure is on about what will be done about it. Big headline. That's why story number 5 made it in this week. Story number 6. More tax credits coming for Lordstown Motor Corporation. $20 million is set the dollar amount to boost That's the boost that's set to come to the Lordstown Motor Corporation in efforts to create 1,570 full-time jobs. Lordstown Motor Corporation has been in numerous headlines over the past few weeks. Now, with goals to ramp up production through 2021, the company also plans to increase staff of by 500 more people by the end of next year. Now, the number sits at about 250 employees currently, so they're looking to boost that up. Now, this story is still developing as people are looking for these jobs, especially in this type of economy. Keep an eye on story number 6, big headline. Story number 7 and the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. Oh, yeah. Local nurses are feeling the heat. Some area nurses voiced their concern to Governor DeWine about the problems they've had on the workroom floor maintaining the surge in the COVID-19 problem, the issue, the traffic, and the number of cases that's been rising. The traffic in the hospitals and the cases. Many nurses are concerned about their health and the ability to keep up. Some area nurses are receiving hazard pay, but many are catching the virus and quarantining themselves while also having to treat themselves. The story is still developing, and that's why I made it to the top 2 this week. Story number 8 and the top local headline and developing news story that made it this week. Optimism has been fueling the local community, if you haven't noticed. Now, although many may be blindsided by the woes of the world, optimism usually depends on how you, the local resident, view your community, your environment, the people around you. There have really been some inspiring headlines in the local news lately. Now, although prosperity can oftentimes be related to wealth, sometimes it's just about providing time, and your resources. But during this holiday season, in the middle of a gun violence surge and COVID-19 craziness, we may be forgetting as people about the fact that many local residents are actually going above and beyond the call of duty to impact their surroundings, especially inside of this community. It's now very clear that everyone's will has been tested during the COVID-19 saga, but there are a lot of people keeping things in motion. That's a big headline, and that's why I made it to the top this week. Optimism is always the best medicine. Well, those are our top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. I'll be right back with the top 8 international headlines, so don't go anywhere. You're in the Mediator with me, Brian West. I'll be right back.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
All aboard! If you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. And go to the website. It's method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program.